Good morning. It is Friday, June 17th, and I'm Diane Gerdes, and I'm with the Mortgage Advantage, and this is the Economy Cupcake. Today we're going to be talking about gnomes, dog food, and the deficit. The looming deficit crisis and the fear of a government shutdown has forced our family to implement our own austerity program. We've parked the SUV back in the garden with the gnomes. By the way, the gnomes are not very happy because they do have a height limit that they had to raise in order to accept the SUV. And my dog, my poor blessed Chihuahua, Diego, is now having to eat off-brand dog food, and he barks at it, thinking that maybe that'll make it taste better. And I'm having to buy boxed wine at the dollar store. Now, my husband did suggest that maybe we could give up wine, but after a long discussion, he decided he would never bring up that suggestion ever again. But our government is hitting the mandated debt ceiling of the allowable spending amount of $14.22 trillion. The debt ceiling was implemented in 1917. That was a time during World War I to help the British. And Congress, since 1962, has enacted 74 separate measures to increase the federal debt limit or the debt ceiling. What is the deficit? It is the difference between the money brought in. For instance, 60% of the money brought in is from taxes. The other 40% is from the sale of bonds, versus the amount that we spend, that the government spends. And year to date, they have spent $1.5 trillion. Unless Congress raises the debt ceiling, the markets around the world, and to use a technical term, they are going to freak out. The ramifications of not raising the debt would be a financial mess. Our government would default on existing responsibilities, and guys, we're not talking about a car payment or a credit card bill. They would default on payments such as Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and military personnel pay. And the list goes on. The after effects could include higher interest rates, increased unemployment, and lower home values. And I don't know how home values, at least here in Phoenix, get any lower. I mean, pretty soon the sellers are going to be paying the buyers to purchase the homes. The Republicans and Democrats are arguing over what would best serve the American people to cut our annual spending, which programs to eliminate. Neither party can come to an agreement, and that is why there is so much chatter regarding the debt ceiling, which is $14.22 trillion, and the deficit, which is almost $22 trillion. How did all this happen? Did the government just go on a wild spending spree, and government spends more than it makes? Yes and no. Over 2/3 of the deficit was caused by the financial collapse. And this is reported by Diane Gerdes. I hope I didn't mispronounce his name. He was appointed chair of the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission, and he did a report before Congress back in January. And from what I've heard, that report is better than any novel you could read. But the engorged debt is a result of the bailout money that we gave to our friendly neighborhood banks. And we don't have any choice but to raise the debt ceiling, and things will then go back to our new normal. And the government will implement their version of an austerity program, but it'll be us folks that live here in the real world with the boxed wine and the cheap dog food that are certainly going to pay. Thanks so much.